Hello? Anyone there? We're on. Hello? Hello? Anyone? Hello? Hey, it's ironically over. Okay, we need help today. Yes, you're the first. Hey, Crunchy. Mic check. Video check. We good. Hey, watch party. Hey, Adele. Hey, the Pharaoh. Hey. Okay. Look good, sound good. Okay. Audio check, mic check. Are we good? Yeah, good morning. Is there a watch party still going on? Their watch party? Okay, cool. Alright. We're gonna need to get started right away. Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm Ming Chao, Associate Teaching Professor at Tufts. Today, we're gonna deal with an age-old problem. Hey, Libby. Hey, Richard. And the age-old problem is passwords and password cracking. Yeah. Okay. So this is where I'm gonna need your help and of course, volunteers. So one of the things that you probably may have noticed, especially if you've been following the news and you're taking this course, is it's not a matter of if an incident will happen, but a matter of when. Again, I repeat, it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when. So let's say, for the sake of argument, that a system got breached, compromised, broken into, you name it, by an attacker, and an attacker almost always, one of the first things that the attacker does is to get a dump of all the usernames and ideally passwords on the system. That's it. I mean, credentials. Getting credentials is really important because it is the way to get into break into computer systems. But let's say that let's say breached a very major system, for example, LinkedIn, because they've got breached in a number of times. You want to get a list of all the millions and millions of users, their usernames, and their password hashes. So, let me do an example out. So let's say, for the sake of argument, that all right, I'm an attacker and I got into a system and I got the following information. This is a fictitious database table of users on the system. So I'm going to do username, password. And this is where I'm going to need volunteers. So I'm going to say, okay, so one of the usernames on the system is Libby. And I'm just going to make up a password for you. Hale. Okay, Richard Stars. All right, your password is going to be Sam I am. I'm going to say the Pharaoh. And your password is going to be hello123. Okay. I'm Flying Beer, XXX Flying Beer. And your password is also going to be hello123, to say for the sake of argument. Crunchy Palm. And your password is green eggs and ham. M Daniels 5757. Your password is money is the most important thing in the world. And we'll do one more. And we'll do the rum. I'll do one more count. Rum 270 watch party. Your password is also going to be hello123. Okay. All right. So let me just pretty print this in a nice way. Make this a lot more readable. All right. So here is a fictitious table, database table. If I break into a system, this is the information that I get. Yeah, here we go. I'm an attacker, and here we go. I broke into the system. I got a list. I got a table of all the username and password on the system. Here it is. This is what I get. This is what I get. This is what I see. Goes without saying, what are one or two what are the problems? And this is the worst way, by far and away the worst way to store username and passwords on any system. What's the problem? I'm an attacker. I broke in the system. This is what I get. Man, okay. Daniel said, APT student, therefore, plain text, no encryption at all. Plain text, no encryption. That's number one. That's the primary problem. Here we go. No encryption at all. Everything is in plain text. Super duper easy to log into these. Yep, okay, Valerie, everything's in plain text. By far and away, this is not how you store username and password on any system. Is this still being done these days? Well, unfortunately, every year, it seems like every year, each and every year, and I kid you not, there's always a news story about some company, usually a startup, that don't know any better, that gets breached, and everything is stored in plain text. It happens each and every year. And again, it happens more often than you think. This is not good. Plain text, storing everything in plain text, in the clear, no encryption, worst option of them all. There you go. Okay, there you go. No if, buts, and then. By far, this is the worst way to do things. Can we do better? The question is there a way that we can do better? Namely, is there a way that we can not show the password in plain text or not store the password in plain text? And the answer is yes. We're going to go a step up. A better method. It's not perfect, and it's not, well, as you'll see, it's not great either. But at least it's a hell of a lot better than storing passwords in plain text. And that is the idea of using something called a cryptographic hash function. Okay? Cryptographic hash functions. Okay? Alright, cryptographic hash functions. AKA hash functions. Alright? Better salt that hash. Okay, we'll get to what assault is. What assault, not assault. Like beating someone up in a few moments. But here's the idea of a cryptographic hash function. Okay? It's a function that you feed in an input and then you get an output. However, how many of you here, I know we're in public forum here, I know we are in Discord, how many of you folks have taken a data structures course here? How many people have taken a data structures course? And do you remember the idea of a hash table? Okay, let me ask you folks, when you take data structures, how did you learn hash tables? Like, do you even implement one yourself these days? Like, I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know what they do anymore in 15. Okay, you had to implement like a hash table from scratch. What's the whole purpose of a hash table? Not a hash function, but we learn how they. Okay, what's the whole purpose of a hash table? Okay, I feel like they gave us a hash function to work with. We're gonna get to that in a few moments. What is the whole purpose of a hash table for? Constant time storage. That's it. I mean, searching, really, really, really fast searching, lookup. Perfect. But here's my question. Do you remember? I see Valerie Gup said, I feel like they gave us a hash function to work with. Now, theoretically speaking, and this is one of the reasons why the stuff that you learn in data structures is so critical. Does anyone remember the important properties of of a hash function? I think even some professors, some people even tell, leave it to the mathematicians to write. Does anyone remember the important properties of of hash functions? There were like four. Okay. Uh, avoid collision. Oh my God! Holy shit! Hey, the real IT lad. How have you been? Holy shit, that was 10 years, like almost 20 years ago. Okay. How have you been? Thanks for joining in. Ah, yes, those were the ye old days in 2009. Love those times at the Benjamin Franklin Institute of Technology. How have you been? They're one way. Okay. One way, no way to go back or decrypt. Okay, what else? Oh, yeah. That is no collision, avoid collision, no two inputs can map to the same hash value. Okay, what else? They're repeatable. What does repeatable means is if you, let's say for example, we have Shad Boots, we have JK 2014, the real IT lad. All of us have access to the same hash function. If we all put in the same input, we're always going to get the same output each and every time. Each and every time. It's repeatable. Like, you're not going to get a different answer each and every time you run the function. That will be wrong. But there's one more very important property of cryptographic hash function. The one that a lot of people don't think about a lot. Avoid collision, one way, you can't wait. There's no way to go back or decrypt. There's no such thing. It's repeatable. But there's also another one. Oh yes, it's ironically always deterministic. Yeah, deterministic, repeatable, deterministic. And there's one more. Wow, no one actually has. This is the one. Yeah. Actually, G-Stap K01's that they spread out. Yeah, there you go. They spread out the values. Also known as randomness, aka uniform distribution. Uniform distribution. And of course they're fast. Oh yes, that goes without saying. Fast computation. Cryptographic hash functions. Ideally, this is a function that you send in an input, you simply put it in one input, usually a string or data, and you get an output back. They are commonly used, very well used, uses. Uses. Any one of our digital signatures? Digital signatures verify integrity of a download, and of course for passwords. So those are the uses of cryptographic hash functions. Really, really important. They're used on a daily basis. But for cryptographic hash functions, ideally is no collision, they're one way, they're repeatable, and that they spread out the values, uniform distribution. So you can't guess where something is, and oh, there you go. No, you don't want to. Of course, they're also fast. There are a number of hash functions out there. And one of my favorite place to use is this calculator. I'll show you the link. MD5, okay, so MD5calc.com has a number of so many cryptographic hash functions that you can use. And all of these here are all cryptographic hash functions. MD5, SHA-1, SHA-256, SHA-512. There's a whole list of them. But let's use MD5. So MD5, let's say for Libby's password, hail. So the string to encode is hail. I'm gonna hit enter. And okay, we fed in hail to the MD5 function, and we get 559 yada 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 AEF. So I'm gonna copy that. And now instead of storing the plain text password of hail, I'm just gonna put the MD5 of hail as the password hash. You know what? Actually, I'm not going to use MD5 for a reason. I'm actually going to surprise you. But if you do MD5 of, let's say, SamIM, which is Richard Starr's fake password, okay, and the MD5 hash output is 6cc yada yada 8b. Now, also, does case matter? What happened if I had, instead of SamIM where the A is capital, what happened if we use a lowercase a instead of a capital A? Would that make a difference? And the answer is yes, it does. Case sensitive. Okay, the little things matter. So if you actually change the case of a character or letter, the hash value is going to be different as well too. But if you go and let's do SamIM and you add like a number at the end of it, SamIM1, will that actually change the hash value as well too? Absolutely. Absolutely. Are there any benefits of? Absolutely. That's what I am definitely a dog. Great question that you asked. Are there any benefits of using one over the other? And the answer is absolutely, which I'm going to get to now. So I'm going to change, actually I'll just do one more. I'll just go back and type hail again, the MD5 hash function, send hail again to the hash function, and you will see the result is consistent, 559 to AEF, there, which we had earlier. But now, instead of using MD5, we'll use SHA-1. And now, what's the SHA-1 hash value of hail? And the result is 71C, 3BAA, all the way to FAF. Okay? So now what I'm going to use is I'm going to actually copy the 71, the SHA-1 hash. We're going to use SHA-1 to store passwords now. We're actually going to use SHA-1 hashes. We're going to store SHA-1 hashes instead of the plain text password. And we're going to do SamIM. Okay. But you notice something. You're starting to notice a pattern. Hello123. The SHA-1 of Hello123. Notice something different? Notice a pattern here? Okay, well, we'll get to that in a moment. But I want to answer, I'm definitely a dog's question, the benefits of using one over the other. The answer is absolutely there is. The first and foremost, you notice that MD5, the difference between MD5 and SHA-1. You notice that SHA-1 hash values are longer than MD5 hash values. That by itself is an important benefit, because the longer the hash result, the more secure it is. You can look at it that way. I mean, that's crystal clear. Look at it that way. So the longer the hash value, the more secure it is. I kid you not. Okay? So that's number one. Okay? That's a huge benefit. Okay? So you notice that all of the hash values for MD5 are the same length, same as the hash values of SHA-1. They're also of the same length as well too. Okay, of within SHA-1. The bigger difference is SHA-1 hashes values are much longer than MD5. That in itself makes the hash value, that the hash algorithm, much more secure. How does this play into storage? Well, that's a great question. How does it actually play into storage? Well, these days these days storage is less of a problem. It's one that people don't think about anymore, but it's just more bytes. Back in the days when disk space was a problem, the shorter, the better. That unfortunately would also mean more insecure, much more insecure. Okay, so I'll get to. Does it make sense to stack hash functions? The answer is no, because if someone knows that if it's a double hash value, then it's like, okay, we can still get, we'll still get we still know how to calculate. So it's actually not going to help you as much if you stack hash functions, because if you stack SHA-1 and SHA-1 together, you're still going to have the same hash value out, the same length of the hash value out. And if someone actually knows the algorithm, what you're doing, which is SHA-1 of SHA-1, it's like, oh, I see. Okay, but let's continue on and let's do this out again. What's hello 1 2 3 again? All right, same. Just 7C. All right. We're going to calculate the SHA-1 of green eggs and ham. Money is the most important thing in the world. We need to get the SHA-1 of that. And we'll get the SHA-1 of money is the most of the hello 1 2 3 again. There you go. All right, there we go. So I do want to talk about hide my names issue in a little bit because this alludes to a problem. All right, let's take this back again. Let's go back to the drawing. Let's go back again. So now I'm an attacker and I broke into the system, and now I see I got a list of users. I got a dump of usernames and password. Now, hey, this is a little bit better. This is a little bit better. A little bit better because now that I see that the passwords are no longer in plain text. But however, there's some serious problems still. Does anyone notice something? What's terribly wrong? There are two things that are terribly wrong still. Just by storing the straight hash value of the password. What are the problems? I can think of the username is in plain text. That's fine. I mean, that's necessary. Okay, usernames is not the biggest concern, but there's another big concern. There's actually a couple of them I can think of. So username in plain text, that's fine. Oh. So here's the problem number one, the biggest one of them all. The biggest one of them all is this. We know the Pharaoh, XXX Flying Bear, XXX, and Room 270 Watch Party. The biggest problem is, seems like, well, your password are all three accounts, the password hash are the same. Is the same. So, you see, the Pharaoh, XXX Flying Bear, XXX, and Room 270 Watch Party, the hash value that is stored for the password is the same among the three of you. So that crystal clear means all three of you are using the same passwords. That's number one. That's the biggest problem of them all. So the biggest problem of them all is I can tell, well, there's three people using the same password. That's number one. So this is a really bad way to store passwords as well. Just storing the hash value of the password is not good enough. The second problem is this. Okay, I know, remember the definition of a cryptographic hash function is there's one way. There's no way to go back or decrypt. But for some hash values, can you actually go, let's say, well, let's take hello. Can you go to a place like google.com and you type in the hash value of the thing? Can you type in the hash value and it actually give you back some results? Uh, oh shit, it did. Look at that, my friend Royce William. I want to give a shout out to Royce, my buddy Royce. He used to be on this on Twitch for this session. Someone already have pre-calculated. People have pre-calculated the hash values. MD5, SHA-1, SHA-512, SHA-256, a list of it, of every single dictionary word in the world and common passwords that I use. So my friend Royce, yeah, that's Royce. Here it is. Pwn password top 20,000. Yep. Hello 123. And there it is. Yep, right there. So while theoretically you can't go back and reverse hash functions. There's no decrypt to go back. But it's nothing preventing you from actually pre-calculating the hash value of every single dictionary word and all the weak passwords in the world. Okay? So, yeah, I mean, the idea, as Generalissimo said, rainbow tables. This is a lot of data. I don't even know how many damn lines are in this thing. I mean, if you want to crack passwords out there, I mean, this is light. This is light. This is what, over 20,000? 20K lines of all the most common passwords in the world that have been used. This was just last active 2 months ago. Okay? Yeah, CrackStation is a top web. Yeah. Let's say back in the ye good old days when I did a password cracking competition, I used to have a certain type of password cache that was available for cracking Windows. But it was just everything was just so easy to be done by cracking station. So that's number two. The problem is weak passwords such as hello123 have already been calculated. The hash value has already been calculated, in this case SHA-1. So if you do what I call a Google search or a simple web search of hashes of really, really common dictionary words and passwords and common passwords, you're going to find it. But there's a third reason. The big thing is, remember for cryptographic hash functions, the big property of cryptographic hash function is to avoid collision. No two inputs can map to the same hash value. Well, I hate to say it to you folks, but SHA-1 has already been broken. Yeah. SHA-1 has already been broken. This was back in 2017. And this was done by the fine folks of Google. SHA-1 has already been broken. The industry, at that time in 2017, the industry cryptographic hash function is used. This cryptographic hash function is used for digital signatures and file integrity verification. It's also used for Git commits as well, and to protect a wide range of digital assets, including credit card numbers. And yada yada yada, it is now practically possible to craft two colliding PDF files and obtain a SHA-1 digital signature on the first PDF file, which can also be abused as a valid signature on the second file. There you go. It's not good. Yeah. And here's the attack proof. Here's two PDFs that display the different content, yet they have the same digest. Well, isn't SHA-1 deprecated? Well, here's the thing. Today, many applications still rely on SHA-1, even though the theoretical attacks have been known since 2005 and SHA-1 was officially deprecated in 2011 by NIST. And SHA-1 is still being used these days because of legacy purposes. Okay, it's still being used in legacy purposes. Um, Again, I gotta make that very clear. Although SHA-1 is broken, people still use it. Okay. It was a great map. But one thing is, here it is. Let me just go to, there it is. Normal behavior, two different hashes, a colliding, okay. Two different documents, same hash value. HTTPS certificate, get, I mentioned. But I guess in some ways, don't worry. In a way, you shouldn't be using SHA-1 anyway, but it takes a long friggin' time to actually break SHA-1. And, well, these days with graphic cards and computers, like really good computers, I mean, it's now just a matter of time when hash function can be broken. Okay? Shattered compared to other collision attacks. MD5 takes 1 second now. One smartphone, 30 seconds. Shattered 110 GPUs 1 year. Brute force, again, it takes some time. Defenses, use SHA-256. Google products already protected. And use the collision detection code. So, this is a problem. This is a 3 problems with just storing the straight hash. In this case, SHA-1 hash of a password. Number one, it's very easy to tell who's using the same password. Number two, if it's a weak password, you can just do a Google search for a hash value and just, well, you'll probably find the original plaintext. And number three, just as I mentioned, SHA-1, the algorithm, it's already broken. I mean, we already proved that you can have two different documents that share the same hash value. That's not good. All right. So, wait a minute here. Let's go back. All right, let's start all the way again. Is there a way that we can do any better? All right, the answer is yes. The problem is, the biggest problem with just storing the straight SHA-1 hash, or just a straight hash, I don't care if you're using SHA-512, is it's very easy to tell who's using the same passwords. Okay? Here is another idea. Why not for each and every single password here, from Libby to Room 270 Watch Party, before we do the hashing of the password, we append, usually like a prepend a token or append a token to the beginning or after it to make it look more random. So I'm gonna add a new column here called token. And I'm gonna assign I'm going to give each and every user a random token of 2 characters. Okay? AA, BB, CC. Again, this is like random out of my head. DD, EE, FU, and G7. Okay? So I'm going to assign each and every user, Libby, Richard, the Pharaoh, the Flying Bear, Crunchy Pomegranate, Mom Daniels, and Room 270 Watch Party, a random token. So, okay, I'm going to use, I can still use SHA-1, although it's still broken because, it is shorter. Why not, instead of using SHA-1, we use SHA-512. That's a little longer. Nah, you know what? I'm going to still use SHA-1. But hail. So you see where it says hail? So in this case, I'm just going to do the SHA-1 of hail, but append the token to the end of it, which is AA. So it's not just the hash of the SHA-1 hash of hail. It's going to be hail plus the 2 token, the small token, which is AA. Sam I am. And it's not a straight, we're not going to do a straight SHA-1 of Sam I am. We're going to do SHA-1 of Sam I am plus the token, BB, which is now AD. Hello 1, 2, 3, and we have CC. DD. Green eggs and ham and EE. Double E. Money is the most important thing in the world. Add an FU at the end of it. Hey, that actually all makes sense now. FU money. Yes, that's the thing, historically. And hello. 1, 2, 3, G7. Bing! Now remember, in the real world, this token should be random, completely random. Alright. Why not just hash the username and password together? You can do that, but it's not going to be predictable. The problem is there's no randomness. It's the randomness that makes the biggest difference of them all, APT student. You know, if you hash the username and password together, that's the idea is randomness. Okay? It's the token that adds the randomness. We'll talk about the significance of the token in a few moments. Alright, let's play this game all over again. Now, when I actually am an attacker and I break into a database system, I did break into a system, this is now the list of users that I get. I see username, token, and password. I'm like, oh shit, this is a problem. So now, no longer do you actually see no longer do you know that there are people using the same password. Think it was the Pharaoh, Richard Starr, and 270 Watch Party that actually shared the same password. That's no longer evident here. That's no longer evident here. And each and every user is given some random token. How can I crack the password now? Well, there is a way. You have to think of all the random tokens in the world. You have to make a table of all the dictionary. You have to do a dictionary, do a hash of all the dictionary words in the world, plus all the possible token combinations in the world. So does a token have to be super long too? And the answer is, interestingly enough, no. And we'll see, the token doesn't have to be super long at all. And actually in the real world, they're kind of short. They're usually like 8 characters at the most. And now, if you're an attacker, you see this, it's like, ah crap, not this thing again. Now I have to get to work and really start cracking. Need a lot of GPUs, computational power to now crack these passwords. Well, some may be easier than others. And this is actually how the real how these days modern system stores usernames and credentials. If they store the username, the hash of the password, and a token. Now the token is actually, there's a more formal term for it. It's not called a token. It's called a password salt. Aha! I want to introduce you to the idea of a password salt. And a password salt, and this will answer the question why having, you just can't just hash the username and the password together. What the heck is it? Here it is. Salting passwords 101. And this is a good post on Stack Overflow that explains the problem. What is it? Okay. So, there it is. So I understand. Could someone help me how salting works? So far I can understand the following: validating a password, generating a entry. Okay, there it is. Salt is combined, okay, here it is. Salt is combined with the password before hashing. The password and salt clear values are concatenated and the resulting string is hashed. That's exactly what we do. This guarantees that even if two people were to have the same password, you would have different resulting hashes. Also, and this is the reason why you just don't want to just hash the username and the password is also make attacks known as dictionary attacks using rainbow tables much more difficult. Okay? The salt is then stored in slash original clear format along with the hash result. Then later, when you want to verify the password, you would do the original process over again. Combine the salt from the record with the password the user provided, hash the result, compare the hash. Okay, there you go. The purpose of salting is to defeat dictionary attacks. Okay, instead of creating a dictionary of hash password and then simply looking for matches all over the place, you force the attacker to recompute all the hashes for each unique salt. Okay, this way the password database is even allowed to fall into the wrong hand, and it's okay because the adversary has a computationally infeasible problem to solve. Okay, there you go. That answers the question why does you don't want to just hash the username and password together, which is a PT student's question. All right. So how does this is done on modern systems like Linux these days? Okay. So now we are now ready. I am now ready to show you how usernames and passwords are stored on like a real Linux on a modern Linux system these days. Like for example, if you're on ToughCS homework.cs.tufts.edu systems. Okay. All right. Does the token always go in the end? Oh, that's a good question. Or is it possible to be within the password? Um, you mean Kim KTM? Do you mean what during the concatenation process or during storage? If it's during the concatenation, it depends. I mean, you got to read the documentation. But about the storage of the of the token or the salt, that's actually we're gonna see that right now. So here I am. I'm on a modern Linux system here. I'm on Kali Linux. LS, hello. Okay. So now I am going to ls slash home, and I want to see DEF CON. Okay. It's a little dark here. Is there a way? Hold on. Let me see if I can create a new tab. Let's go to my settings. I know it's a little dark here, so that ain't good. I've got a basic. Yeah, I'm gonna change the font size to like 24 in this case. All right. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I'm gonna bring up. I'm gonna exit out. I'm gonna bring a new tab, a new basic tab. Ooh, that looks good. That looks good. All right, I'm gonna close out. SSH Kali. Oops, SSH DEFCON at Kali. So it's defined to store the username and the salt in plain text, and the answer is absolutely. Absolutely. You can all see, right? So here I am on a modern and just recently updated version of Kali Linux. Alright, so I am going to create a few users here. Okay? Sudo add user, and I'm going to add a user apt student 04. My password is, okay, so I'm going to create apt student 04, and your password is going to be, oh, yeah, I want to try again. Yep, we created one user. APT student 04. If I go to a home directory, I see a new home directory for APT student 04. Let's actually have another student, KTM 10. Okay, KTM 1017. Your password is going to be what do you think KTM's 1017 password is? You may be able to figure it out with my keystrokes. And I'm just going to go Generalissimo. Oh, actually, I'm going to go, no. I am definitely a dog. I am definitely a dog. Your password is going to be... Alright. I'm pretty sure you all figured out what I am definitely a dog password is. And I'll do one more user. Take bets. You can feel free to take bets. Generalissimo. Your password is... Yeah, the password. So we just created 1, 2, 3, 4 accounts. APT student 04, Generalissimo, I am definitely a dog, and KTM 1017. We have 4 users here we just created. Now, what were the passwords? Oh shoot, we just lost the password to APT student 04, Generalissimo, I am definitely a dog, and KTM 1017. Okay? Okay? Is one of the accounts using the word password as a password? We don't know. We'll find out. Okay, so let's do this. All right. So first of all, how are users' usernames and password hashes and salt stored on a modern Linux system? We're going to need to start off with to look at a file. If you go to the /etc folder, is this file called PASSWD. The PASSWD file, okay, in the /etc directory is a list of where you see all the usernames and password hashes. Whee! Oh, let me do that again. There you go. There you go. You notice, hey, here we go. You see me, you see APT student 04, you see KTM 1017. I am definitely a dog, and Generalissimo. There your username and password. There you go, okay. It's in this folder, in this file called PASSWD. Oh, wait a minute, what? Wait a minute, but what's the password hash and assault? What the hell are they? Back in the ye good old days, we're talking about like the early 2000s, everything was in the /etc/PASSWD file. Like everything. And of course, as people found out, of course, that's a pretty bad design. That's not smart. It's a one, you know, you need the PASSWD file to check accounts and stuff. But you're putting all eggs in one basket, so that ain't smart. So what ended up happening is, okay, we're going to separate out the password hashes out of the password hashes out of the PASSWD file. And there's another file that is critical, which is called it's also in /etc. It's called the shadow file. Shadow. Shadow is only available for root users. if I use cat /etc/passwd, anyone can do it. It's publicly readable because you need account information. But what about the shadow file that you need to be root? So now I have to do sudo cat /etc shadow and ooh, oh my, that's a lot of information here. Now you're seeing username and you're seeing a lot of hashed information, but what the hell does this all mean? Okay, let's have a discussion on what this all means. You see a username and you see a $, $, and then something here, and then another $. What the hell is all of this? Why is it like that? What's the point? How do you read a shadow file? What does all this mean? How can you read it? Well, and that's why I want to show you this document. And this was recently updated. Well, this was recently updated. Ooh. And let's understand how a shadow file actually works. Linux provides many security mechanisms. One of the most basic is /etc/shadow file, which holds the hash passwords of users in the /etc/passwd file. Okay, so let's understand. I'm going to blow up the font here, and let's understand what is stored in a shadow file. Here it is. The following the basic format of /etc password /etc shadow contain basic user password data in 8 colon separated column per unique user row. The first item is a password. The second item, no, the first thing is a username. The second thing is a password. The third thing is a change. Okay, so let's see. Let's see an example entry. User 1 colon $y blah blah J90 $, yada 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 all the way up to 66E. Oh, sorry. All right. So what does that mean? All right. Here. There are many algorithms. Okay, so here it is. Let's not talk about we don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. But here's how you read. Okay, so wait, go back here. So now you know that you see the usernames. APT student 04, KTM 01. That's the username. So this mess right here, from $y all the way up to the colon at the slash here, the KB8, this is the entire password hash with the salt. What the hell? I can't even. This entire thing right here for APT student 04, $y J90 yada 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 yada, all the way up to the B8 slash is the password hash with the salt for APT student 04. For I am definitely a dog here. It's $y all the way up to the B9. In theory, when you're authenticating, wouldn't the computer need to read from ET? No, it will read from made this for CS116. Will read from /etc/passwd first. Okay. All right. So here is how you read this $something $. If you see $1 that means MD5 is used as the hash algorithm. $2A is blowfish. $5 is a 256-bit is SHA-256. $6 is SHA-512. And $y or now $7 is YesCrypt. YesCrypt is brand new. Okay? YesCrypt is completely brand new. Now, for modern Linux systems like the latest version of Debian, Fedora, Kali Linux, Ubuntu, it uses the $Y, or YesCrypt. Okay? In all the cases, the whole format of the field becomes more complex, which is $ID. Okay, so the ID is 1, 2A, 5, 6, or Y. The ID is a hash algorithm. Dollar sign, the next thing after the first dollar sign is param. Okay, the param field can contain options for algorithms that support them. And then the dollar sign, the third after the third dollar sign is a salt. And then after the fourth dollar sign is the encrypted hash. So let's take a look at APT student KTM. I'm definitely a dog in Generalissimo. The option for the okay, so you're all $Y dollar signs. I mean, you're all using YesCrypt. The option is, well, notice that the option is all J, lowercase J, 9, capital T. I don't know what that is. But then the salt is, in APT student 04's case, is all of this mess. The salt for KTM is all of this mess. For I'm definitely a dog, the salt is all of this. And the salt for Generalissimo is all of this. And then the hash is the thing that is after the fourth dollar sign, which is this mess. Yeah. But somehow it has to hash the password, so you can input and compare that. Yes, that is correct. And there is a function on system called crypt that does that. Yep, libcrypt. All right. So what crypt will do, it will actually take in whatever you typed in as a password, do its business, then compare it with your salt that is found in a shadow file. Does its work, and well, if the hash value matches that's in the shadow file, you're in. That's how it does it. Yep. So crypt is only used when after you enter in your password. Yeah. But the starting place gotta be for PASSWD. Yep. So there it is. So now you know how it works. Now you know how the meaning of how on modern Linux system how your password is stored. The first thing after the first $Y, is going to be the hash algorithm that's used. Y is completely brand new, called YesCrypt. And then after the second $sign is the option. Don't worry about that. After the third $sign is the salt. And then after the fourth $sign is the hash value. Now, each and every semester in this course, I run a password cracking competition. And you have 1 month to crack as many passwords as you can. And if you crack all 16 or all the passwords in the competition, you get an automatic A in the course. So here is the Spring 2024 password cracking competition. Now it's open to the open. But you notice that there's only 2 types of password hashes. There's only $1 and $6. There's only 2 types of password hashes. And the reason for this is because, well, what's $1? Let's take a look at it again. $1 are MD5s, and $6 is SHA-512. There's no $Y. Because right now, the password cracker on some systems, like John the Ripper, which we'll talk about for Mac OS, doesn't support YesCrypt yet. So you can only crack like MD5 or SHA-512 passwords. But yeah, if you notice the password hashes here, how it works, you can see is the username, $1, followed by, and there's no option, which is nice and simple. It's just the password salt and then the hash. Password salt, then the hash. Well, it's a long one. I mean, SHA-512 can be pretty damn long. Amanda Road 120, has anyone ever gotten all the password? The answer is no. Some people have come very close, though. Very close. All right. So, now the question is, let's crack the passwords. All right. So I'm going to go to my home directory, and the first thing I want to do is make a copy of /etc passwd. And I also want to make a copy of the shadow. And you'll see this won't work because I need to be sudo. So here I am on my home directory. Oh, and you don't need to do this next step because I already did it for you. So, I have a copy of now the passwd and shadow file. I want to change the owner of the passwd file and the copy of the shadow file to me. Yep. L, so I have more passwd. So I have a copy of the passwd file and a copy of the shadow file. There you go. So we got APT student, we don't have to worry about me. KTM, I'm definitely a generalissimo. And so now the next step is, let's run and use a password cracker on this. And the password cracker that I love to teach and use for this course is called John the Ripper. John the Ripper, been an old tool. John the Ripper for years. Here it is, just let's take a look at the Wikipedia. Originally from 1996, originally the whole point of John the Ripper was used for audit passwords. It's free and it's open source and also platform independent. It can be used for password testing and combines a number of password crackers in one, yada yada yada. The other thing is, in order to use John the Ripper, you have to know how the system works, namely passwd and shadow files. So John the Ripper, the password cracker. Oh, damn. Here it is. John the Ripper is, here's the official website of John the Ripper. Okay. Now, it's free and it's open source, and it's used for password auditing and password recovery. It supports many different hashes and ciphers and all that other good stuff. If you're in Mac OS land, I'm going to open up a brand new tab, brand new basic tab. If you're homebrew, to install John the Ripper properly, you just do brew install John-Jumbo. Yeah, it's not just brew install John, it's John-Jumbo. Yep, I already installed it, but brew info John-Jumbo is an enhanced version of John the Unix password cracker. Okay, so just to let you know, for those of you who are using Mac OS, you just use John-Jumbo. You want to do John-Jumbo installed by way of homebrew. If you have Windows or Linux, download either the binary or the source here on the official John the Ripper website. Okay, so now I want to go back. Let's do some password cracking here. So the first thing is, you want to do a man John. Well, here it is. John the Ripper is John, a tool to find weak password of your users. Now, before you run John, you need to do something called unshadow. And unshadow is a tool that is built in that comes with John the Ripper. And you need to do this first. It combines both the passwd and shadow files. Using unshadow is really simple. Unshadow the password file and the shadow file, and it's just going to spit it out to the screen. You got to do this first because without this unshadow file, John, you can't run John. So you do unshadow, PASSWD, and shadow, and you get this mess out. But the problem is you don't want to just spit out the screen. You want to save all this output to something like pipe it out to a crackme file, like a crackme.txt. For the password cracking competition, I already did this for you. All you need to do is to run a password cracker like John, ideally using wordlists and stuff. We'll get to that in a few moments. So now I'm going to do a more crackme.txt. And here is the combination of what unshadow does. It put both the PASSWD and the shadow file together. There it is. So now I only want to crack APT, KTM, I'm definitely a dog, and Generalissimo. So I'm going to vim crackme.txt. I'm just going to delete all this other crap that we don't need. Yeah, they don't have any password hashes. I'm also going to delete the DEF CON account as well, too. Alright, there you go. So now I'm going to clear the screen and more crackme.txt. APD student, KTM, I'm definitely a dog, and Generalissimo. We have 4 user accounts and 4 hashes, but they're all of YesCrypt. Now we have an unshadowed file of crackme, and now you can send this to, well, John the Ripper. All you need to do is John space crackme.txt, and then you hit enter. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Using default input encoding, no password hashes loaded. This is not good. But there's a reason for this. The reason for this is because of YesCrypt. YesCrypt is so new that it's not 100% supported. It's not fully supported on most systems yet. So this was asked 2 years ago. But in order to crack YesCrypt, today, still true of March 2023, John the Ripper only supports YesCrypt indirectly on system that uses libxcrypt through John the Ripper's general crypt format, ---- format crypt, which invokes the system's crypt function. In other words, you have to be on a system that natively supports YesCrypt in order to use John the Ripper to attack YesCrypt hashes, like which we are right now. All right. So, that's a huge warning for you. While most Unix systems, most Linux systems have now transitioned over to YesCrypt, all right, you can't crack YesCrypt on things like Mac OS or Windows. Okay, you can crack SHA-512 or SHA-256 passwords as it is. Okay, yeah, starting here it is, starting Debian 11. So this will work. So what you need to do is do the ---- format equals crypt option. So ---- format equals crypt. So this can invoke the crypt function that is used on this Linux system. All right, folks, are we ready? I'm going to hit the enter key right now, and we're going to try to see how long it takes to crack APT student 04, KTM 1017. I'm definitely a dog, in Generalissimo's password. I don't know what they are. Ready? Hit the enter key. And you just have to let this run for a while. Probably to a point where you need to go and get a cup of coffee. Oh, there it is. There, we got it. Okay, wait a minute. We got 2 of the 4. We got the password for I am definitely a dog is password. And the password for KTM 1017 is 21234556. So unfortunately, I am definitely a dog and KTM 1017 are both cracked. But what about Generalissimo and APT student 04? We don't know yet. You just have to run this for a long time. So there we have 2 accounts now that are actually, not good, that are still running. But I just want to give you a little background on how John the Ripper and ideally how you really want to do password cracking in real life. By default, the first thing that John the Ripper does is it uses his own password list, word list. User slash j slash John slash PASSW to password.lst. I'm going to hit the control C now. Just to let you all know, you can control C out of a password cracking session like in John the Ripper, and then when you run the cracker again, it won't re-crack the account that it cracked. It will actually start off, if you rerun johncrackme.txt minus minus format equals crypt, it's going to return to where it was before. Well, that's good. But ideally, when you crack passwords, you want to use wordlists. John the Ripper by itself has a word list that is built in slash user slash share that slash John slash PASS or password.lst on Kali Linux. And this is John the Ripper's list. Oh, that's not good. What's the word counter? How many words are here? Oh, that's small. Like 3,500 words. Oh, that's not good. Ah, no bueno. So, here's the thing. Okay, what you want to do is, okay, the John the Ripper, although John the Ripper has a default password list that is built in, it's very weak. It's only like 3,500 words. Your better tool to use is my friend Daniel Meisler's tool called SecList. And it's a GitHub repository. SecList. I'm going to copy this. I'm just going to go to home directory while I'm going to get cloned. It's going to take a while. SecList is the security tester's companion. I'll send you the link on the chat. And this is your friend for password cracking and any security engagement. SecList is a security tester's companion. It's a collection of multiple types of lists used during a security assessment collected in one place. List of types include username, password, fuzzing payload, yada, yada, yada. It gets updated all the time. But go to passwords. And you have like so many password lists here. Hold on. And I always have, and I know I'm making a clone, but I can go to my Linux box here, my original Mac, sorry. CD SecList, CD password. 10 million passwords. Twitter banned ones. One of my favorite is darkcode.txt. This is one of my absolute favorites. Dark Web 2017 top 10,000. All right, let's take a look. More dark web. Some of the worst passwords in the world. Did you just append all these files together? Ooh. You know, I am definitely a dog. Are you talking about for password cracking purposes? That your question? Should you append all the word lists together? You can. It's a pain, though. Good luck with that. So yeah, the 10,000. Yeah, the top 10,000. Dark code. How many words are in dark code? 1,471,056. I like dark code. Well, here's the thing. I don't want to. I mean, I'm definitely a dog. I'm kind of uncomfortable. I mean, you can do it if you have a like beefy computer, like a Windows box with like tons and tons of memory and computational power. But I don't want to deal with a word list that's 10 million words at one thing. It's a lot. I mean, 10,000 words, 10 million words are 10 million words. So if I do more dark code, you can see, like, here's some of the worst passwords in the world. Holy Jesus. And so, how do you use word lists in John the Ripper cracking? Yep, I'm done. So I have crackme.txt here. Now you do John. Actually, here I'm on Kali now. I'm going to say seclist cd passwords. Let's use exacto net 10 million, 100,000. Okay. So I would do John minus word list equals seclist slash passwords slash the word list, and then crackme.txt. And it's going to try to crack, I think, APT student and the last one, the generalissimos. Yeah. Oh, I also have to add format equals crypt because we're dealing with yes crypt stuff here. Yeah. Remaining 2 password hashes with 2 different salts. We'll just let this damn thing run. So I'm definitely a dog. I don't feel. Oh, we got it. We got APT. Well, we got it. We got APT student 04 password. We cracked it. It's mystery. So APT student 04 password is mystery. Thanks to the word list. If you want to crack passwords really effectively, the answer is wordless and GPUs, aka having a lot of money. But we cannot assume that GPUs. So wordless are your friend. Just a little anecdote: when LinkedIn was breached with like 10 million user account, the attackers cracked 60% of the accounts using wordless. 60% of like millions and millions of account, and it only took like 30 minutes. Can we assume that all the passwords in Lab 5 come from one of the... No, not all. Not all. Not all. In fact, it's not even just one of the lists, but multiple lists. There you go, Richard. Good question. Good try, though. I can tell you right now is that not all, a lot of the password hashes, the passwords and the password cracking competition are from multiple word lists. Many, not all, many. And I can just say on a word of mouth here that, yeah, if you crack all 16 passwords, you get an automatic A. But usually there's a scale. Like if you crack 7 or 8, like usually like 7, 8, or 9, somewhere in that range. It'll take like a week to figure this one out. It will, there you get like a 10 out of a 10. Like the bar is kind of low. If you crack like more than 10 or like more than 11, you get a 10 and a half. No, you get a 10.1 or a 10.2, but if you win the whole competition or you runner up, you get like a 10 and a half. No, shoot, if you win, you get an 11 out of a 10, something like that. But I want to come back and leave. What is your favorite word for salting? I don't know. But I do want to leave today with one final message about passwords and password cracking. Folks, it's not a matter of if your password will be cracked. It's only a matter of when. I repeat, I don't care what password you are using right now. It's only going to be a matter of when, not if, your password will be cracked. Now, I want to show you, not this. I want to show you this little picture. Hopefully, this didn't get. Here it is from Reddit. My friends at Reddit, I love you. There it is. The time it takes to crack a password, and this is from 4 years ago. Generally speaking, the messaging is still the same. Here it is. The time it takes for a hacker to crack your password. If you're only using just numbers only, up to 10 characters, it'll be cracked. If you're using lowercase letters only, 4 characters, it's going to be cracked instantaneously. You notice that the shorter the character is, 4 or 5 characters, and you're using a mixture of numbers, uppercase letters, lowercase letters, symbols, it's going to be cracked instantaneously. It doesn't take that much. However, you notice that there's a pattern with the greater number of characters that you use and the more options that you have. We just ran through all this word list and we can't get Generalissimo's password. Not yet. So we just went through all 100,000 in this word list here. Once you go through a word list, you're done. It doesn't, and like once it finishes a word list, it stops right there. Like it will just stop. Here it is, and it only took a certain amount of time. But we did crack APT student 04 password though. Alright, but actually going back. But you notice that the longer the password and the more letters and characters that you use, it can take a really friggin' long time. Numbers only, if you're using numbers only, is it 18 numbers? 9 months. 23 million years of this if you're having an 18 character password of lowercase letters only. If you have a password of 18 characters that is a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters, it'll take 6 trillion years. 7 quadrillion years for like an 18 length 18 password. So look folks, it doesn't matter, what your password is right now. It could take a minute. It could take a second, a minute, a day, a week, a month, a year, an eternity, a century, a millennium, I don't know. It's going to be broken. It's just going to take a matter of time. And what's even worse is as the days go by, when CPUs and GPUs get more powerful, that number is slowly decreasing. Okay? So it's not, you look at your password is going to be cracked. It's only a matter of when, not a matter of if. Cracking password, folks, it just takes a matter of time. It's a hell of a lot quicker if you're a dumbass and you use dictionary words for your password, because it's in a word list right now. Is it worth trying to do some social when creating a password list? Well, no, absolutely not. Because look I can tell you what friends have done in the real world is they go through, let's say for example, if you are I'll give you a good example. If you're a marketing person. So what they do is they go to marketing websites and LinkedIn posts, social media. They actually just get they actually put the farm word list, make their own word list from that, that's tailored to marketing folks, and use that. No social engineering necessary. I mean, a lot of people already posted their information out there anyway. Doesn't matter if you have an average secure password, but you only have OAuth on the platform. So here's the deal. The only way right now that you can really protect yourself, the best investment that you can make to defend, look at the NSA, Rob Joyce said, the way we get into systems, the number one way is weak passwords. Your defense is 2 things. Number 1, password manager, and number 2, two-factor authentication. Either with a code or use a hardware key. That's it. That's your best investment that you can make in terms of your personal hygiene, your personal cybersecurity awareness and hygiene. Okay, that's it. Your best investment is password managers, so you can like randomly set password for whatever website account that you want. You never memorize that shit. I gave up on that 2 years ago. Let me just say, moving to a password manager like I use Bitwarden. It's life-changing. It's amazing. It's like, where the fuck was I for all these years? And ensure that you have enabled two-factor authentication of some sort for all your accounts. Okay? Will you sponsor us Yeah, room 270, pretend we didn't say it. Yeah, the answer is yes, but pretend you didn't write that. What benefit does the limiting password size? Unironically over, yeah, there is, um, I'm trying to figure that one out even up to this day. I have no fucking idea. It makes, I mean, limiting password size, um, it's either because of incompetence or it's because they don't have the resources to go update to modern schemes. Okay? That's it. I mean, it seems like it's just a sheer, either like a cost or a laziness issue. It's not one password. We know LastPass gets broken into like 100 times a year, hacker. Yeah, not one password. I think had an incident, but the more infamous one is LastPass. We just laugh at them all the time. Does all the password line could be cracked if you find the right word list? The answer is Dion. Hell no. Hell no. You know, I mean, good luck trying to crack all 16. I'm just saying. Like, good luck with that. I mean, there is a reason why you get an automatic A if you actually crack all 16 hashes. Okay? I mean, good luck. So that's it for, whoa, way over time. So now, I'm going to end with two words. The password cracking competition is up. Happy hacking, everyone.